Welcome to WVSOM's 40th anniversary celebration. This video plays homage to the spirit of the school and the people who loved it and believed in it since its inception in 1972. Join us as we celebrate our past and look to the exciting adventures that lie ahead.
One of the memories I have is at times when we were walking to class, there would be a reporter from the Charleston Gazette that would be asking us questions about why we chose that school and whether or not the school would survive. And I remember Dr. O.J. Bales telling us of a contingency plan where we would have positions in other osteopathic medical schools if that school didn't survive. But again, through the hard work of people like Roland Sharp and O.J. Bales and the faculty and some of the friends in the state, other physicians in the state, the school did survive. And even through years beyond that, when there were battles, the school was able to persevere and become one of the top schools in the nation.
When you ask about legacy, I feel like I have a unique perspective in watching the progress of the school, and that I feel like I've been involved with this all my life. My father and my grandfather have been involved with the school for as long as I can remember. And I remember in the early days, the school struggling, being a very small school within the state. And now they're a powerhouse, providing quality care physicians to our state. I'm especially proud in that my grandfather was one of the 4 founders of the school. And it was very comforting to walk through the halls my first year and to see the portrait of the founders and see my grandfather up there.
My first week here at WVSOM, I was really excited to be here. I felt like I had accomplished something by getting in, and at the same time, I was scared to death because the first week they showed us an example of how we should plan out our day, and when I counted it up, there were like 28 hours, and I said, wait a minute, there's like 4 extra hours in this day, and I realized I'm gonna have to cut back on like eating or sleeping, which are 2 of my favorite things. And so that was probably the biggest realization, like, wow, this is gonna be intense. And it was, but I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else.
I enjoy being a physician because being a primary care physician, you get to know your patients on a different level. You actually become embedded in their family. You become part of their family. And when I was in private practice, I had several families where I took care of not only mom and dad, but the whole extended family, 10 to 15, 20 patients. And you get to know everyone there in a way that you don't when you're just in and out. And you get to give people real one-on-one care and in a loving way.
When I think about the legacy of WVSOM, I will always be reminded of how well our school has rated in U.S. News and World Report. Being ranked #1 on many occasions for rural medicine, it is something that I am extremely proud of. And equally important is I'm amazed at how many of our graduates stay in the Appalachian area, small towns. This is what DOs do best, and I think our institution is one of the finest at putting physicians where they are most needed.
By that time I was done with the interview and I had, seen campus, met with the faculty, met the other students, other medical students, and talked with them, see what their interests are, I knew that I wanted to go to WVSOM and that I would feel very lucky to get in. When the next week, I actually got my acceptance letter. And when I got my acceptance letter, I canceled all my other interviews, and I sent letters to all the other schools telling them that I had already committed to WVSOM. Took me about 2 seconds once I opened the letter.
Well, for me, WVSOM is more than about just academic excellence, although they've proven themselves to be academically excellent. But it's also about relationship. And I enjoyed very much when my wife, Jean, and I moved to Greenbrier County in Lewisburg in 1975 to be a part of the graduating class of 1979, to be involved in the community, involved in our local church, and also be involved with the academics of the faculty and staff, and to know them on a first-name basis. That's what it meant to me.
Well, I look back at going to school at WVSOM, and I just remember so much the caring attitude and the genuineness of the faculty that were here at the time, and how much that they would come and make sure that you knew the material and would spend the extra time if you had a question. As a practicing physician today, I still remember when I examined someone's eyes, when Dr. Jim Wells brought the huge 4 or 5 foot eyeballs into the room, and that has really helped to know. I always remember Dr. Wells explaining, the lateral rotation, medial rotation, and so forth. So that is something I still remember probably every week that I practice medicine now.
The day of graduation, I just remember feeling such a sense of accomplishment, like I did this 4 years ago. I came in and I was scared to death and I thought I wasn't going to be able to do this, but I did it, and it's time to move on and just start that life of something I've always wanted to do, and it was a great feeling.
I think one of the fondest memories of the first year for me is towards the spring of the year. We had just completed a huge test, and it was the first time that I had skipped school for a whole day. So I had decided to skip school with a bunch of friends, and we went up to Sherwood Lake for the day. And I can remember just laying in the sun. It was a really warm spring day, and just feeling complete that I had almost finished the first year. And I thought to myself, I've done it. I've completed the first year, and now I know that I can do this.
I had a goal in mind when I went to undergraduate school to become a biology teacher, to also take some classes for the pre-medicine route. And my old college roommate, David Hinchman, did the same thing. We took those classes together. Once I'd graduated, actually I had the opportunity to go into coal mines. The money was good at the time, and I worked 5 years in the coal mines, and then David Hinchman came back to me. He said, I've been accepted into medical school. I know you've got the classes. Why don't you put your application in? And so WVSOM allowed me to realize the dream I had in the back of my mind, but I never thought was attainable. And I put my application in, and lo and behold, I was accepted. My wife cried, and then off to medical school we went.
I clearly remember my first day of medical school. The first person that I met was a fellow student, Bill Miner, and Bill and I would later be partners in our first practice in Raynell. I was a non-traditional student. I was over 30 years of age and had been out of school for a period of time. My study habits were not all that good at that point. The first biochemistry test that I took, I had a passing grade, but it made me wonder why I was there. Over time, my study habits improved, and I felt by the end of the second year I was somewhat ready to go see patients.
It is an honor and privilege to be a graduate of WVSOM. WVSOM gave me the opportunity to be an osteopathic family physician. I had excellent instruction, and the faculty prepared me well to be a physician. I always have been well prepared in the hospital, clinic, and college settings. WVSOM is family, and the faculty and staff helped me and my class be successful. We today also want our students to be successful and maintain the high standards to help our students achieve their goals. As Dean, it is my responsibility to ensure that we build upon that legacy. We should always remember the past, but look to the future to continue to graduate the highest caliber osteopathic physicians.
WVSOM has represented a gift to me initially. It was a gift to me from the founders who had a vision. I wanted to study medicine, and it came along to me through divine intervention at the right time in which I was introduced to the right people. One of them was Dr. Newell, who was one of the founders. It represents to me a gift to the state and the nation because it has provided some good physicians to communities, not only in West Virginia, but other communities. It represents to me a gift to the profession because it is a nationally recognized school, medical school. And it represents to me a gift to the future generations who want to study medicine.